sampling mode image, yeah. I usually don't want that to be the case, but I guess actually this is one scenario where I do want it to be the case. That's all right. I guess I'll stop. Hey, it's vent time. I'll stop complaining about the sampling mode, I guess. Oh wait, undo. I didn't actually want to do that. There we go. Alright, so yeah, I'm just gonna do this. Just gonna do it. Oh, and I don't even have to respect the little, like, divots in the trees anymore. I should be, no, I really shouldn't, this is one of those times where I keep thinking, oh, I should be a little bit more careful about how I do this, but it's also, because it's not the front layer. Like, the front layer is the one layer where I really do have to be careful about how I do things, because the front layer is really, like, in your face and noticeable, but, like, every layer behind the front layer, I can get a little bit looser with it. I mean, I shouldn't, like, if I was, like, a professional artist, I shouldn't. If I was a professional artist, I should put a lot of care into, like, pretty much all of it. But, I don't know. I'm not even 100% about the, whoops. That was not correct. I'm not even 100% about the overall outcome yet, so I'm definitely not gonna stress about it yet. And like I said, these graphics are a little bit not 100% literally perfect forever, altogether. There's like a little bit of fudge factor there. But yeah, let's have slightly snowier treetops. Yay. And I will shade these, but again, not as detailed as the top layer. Doop-a-doop. There we go. Yeah, I didn't want to go back and draw over all those little triangle pointy tops that I had just drawn in, because I had spent too much time drawing those triangle pointy tops in the first place, so yeah. The coding language that I typically use to, oh, sorry, I haven't been paying attention to chat. Oh, but yeah, no, I did pay some attention, because I did answer your first question. Oh, how long would I say it takes to make a game? That's an interesting question. Sorry, yeah, I missed that question. I'll answer both of the, oh, so, actually, I'll answer the coding language question first, because that's quicker. I'm coding this game in Python. I usually work in C languages, like C#. Although for my next project was originally written in C#, but I'm thinking of actually writing it in Hacks instead, because I've heard good things about Hacks, and it seems cool, and I want to try it. So how long would I say it takes to make games? Well, I can actually have a visual answer to that question, because there's let's see, on my site I have this game Hero. This one took me several months to make, and it was just me working on the project. So if you work for several months on a game, you could make something like this, for example. Which it starts out slow, but hold on, it'll get more interesting in a second, because for one thing, we'll get power-ups, and we can, oh yeah, I left this game in a pretty rough state. I just kind of stopped work on it one day. But yeah, so in this game you get little bombs that you can throw, and you can speed up the bombs so that you can throw them faster. You can make the bombs bigger, or you can give them Wi-Fi, as everyone thinks that image looks like. So yeah, this game goes on, and there's a lot more to do once the game gets more into it. So yeah, I spent like several months on this game, and then for comparison purposes, I spent several weeks on this game. Several weeks? Yeah, several weeks on this game. This game is a little bit simpler, because there are less moving parts, really, as you can see. Like, there are shapes on the screen, and that is most of what is happening right now. there's some points, there's numbers, and I did make another. So the point of this game is like, you try and fill up the grid basically as exactly as possible. I got it perfect that time, because I'm really good at this game. But when you click the green button, you don't get to choose like what shape. It's kind of like Tetris. You just get random shapes, and you have to like make it work. But the other thing I have in this project is you can actually build your deck. So like I can take out all of the S blocks because those ones suck. I can put in more of the T blocks. I can I have five. I still have 5 points to use, so I can add more of the L shape blocks and then more of the 2 shape blocks, and then I can, yeah. So all right. So there's a little bit to this game, and this one took me several weeks to make. And so then for further comparison, there's Grav. This one took me several days to make. I did go back to it at a certain point, so I probably spent like about a week altogether making this one, maybe a little over a week because I went back in at a later. After I had like a first version of this game, I iterated a fair amount, and then even once I was done like with the first wave of iterations, I went back and I put in, so maybe a little over, no, about a week all told, for all the versions. In this game, there's more of that too. So then for further comparison, here's a game. I'm going to show a jam game next. Oh, okay. So Ima is the this is the project that I plan on working on next. The one that I said that I wrote in C#, but I think I might port it to Hacks instead. This game I worked on for about 28 hours altogether from start to finish, and you'll notice like this one's a lot rougher, or at least I don't know. Maybe it won't even be super apparent, but like this game is a little rough around the edges. Like there are like bugs to it, and hopefully we won't encounter any. But yeah, so this is like what I was able to accomplish in that time period. Yeah, so then this next game I made in 3 hours. What was it? It's srsly.bz/pheno. This was actually, I can't take credit for this game really. This one, I worked on this game, but one day on stream, we just decided in the middle of the day, like, hey, let's make a game. Let's just start a game and make it in 3 hours. I had exactly 3 hours before I had to go to a thing. And so I was like, let's make a game. And so we decided on like the theme, and we decided on like what type of game we want to make. And then so we made this game where you make pizzas and you deliver them to random people. And then for further comparison, what was this? Okay, yeah. So here's a game that I made in 25 minutes. What is it, Loser? Because one day I was just done for the day, but people were like, no, don't shut down your stream. And so I was like, all right, what do you want me to do? And they're like, make a game in 20 minutes. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, okay, what type of game should I make? And they're like, it just has to be a game where you can lose. And so this was in 20. It took me a little. Wait, what? Oh, whoops! Ima.biz. What am I typing? srsly.bz /loser. So just in 20 minutes, I was like, all right, I'll make a game where you can lose. And I made it too easy. It's supposed to get faster. The game gets faster as it goes, but it doesn't get faster fast enough. You can lose if you hit the edge of the game. But yeah, basically the point of it is that you're always moving towards some edge, and you can change the direction in which you move by clicking. And yep. So that's how long it takes to make a game. There's a that might that might give you some indication of how long it takes to make a game. Because the answer, what I'm trying to demonstrate with the answer to that question is that you can spend any time you want making a game, and then the more time you spend, the more detailed it will be. The less time you spend, the simpler it will be. All right, so yeah, what am I? Right, so now I need to do more trees. More trees. Trees all day. So yeah, I guess this is okay. I might not even. I was gonna say I might not actually want it to get this thin, but I guess if it only gets like this is the thinnest it ever gets. I guess that's fine. Yes. Yeah. So then you look at a game like I don't know, what's a really big game? Like Grand Theft Auto 5, for example. Like that game was in development for what, like 7 years or something like that, with like hundreds and hundreds of people working on it. So like Yeah, that one took a while. That one took a little bit longer. Uh, so, all right, I was making trees. Making trees. Just need to have one more layer of triangle shapes to make. Oops, I'm drawing on the wrong layer, aren't I? 14, I think, is the. Yeah. I'm gonna name these layers. Whatever. So foreground, tree, green. This is, or not, actually that wasn't foreground, that was near ground, but this is midground, tree, snow, midground, tree, green, what is layer 16? Near ground, not foreground. Near ground, ground, snow. Yeah, this is near ground, not foreground. All right, I won't bother naming all my layers, but all right, that should be a little clearer for now. All right, so well, not near foreground. Rabble. There we go. All right. So color pick, and let's draw. All right. More trees, like so. Doop doop. Oops. That tree's a little bit lumpy, but whatever. I still like it. Yeah, what does this layer look like? This layer looks like that, right, roughly. Sometimes spaced a little further, sometimes spaced a little closer. So yeah, sometimes they can be spaced a little bit closer. Oh yeah, but I don't want to add too much, I don't want to stack too much on this layer. I had to stack a lot on the middle layer, but that's because I didn't want to show the background layer too much. I don't have to stack as much on this layer. Or I really should avoid stacking on this layer to the extent that I can. So the reason I'm going through and drawing all these trees individually is that, like, the reason I'm just drawing the triangle shapes of the trees and not actually, like, drawing out the trees themselves is that I'm going to go through and after I draw out just, like, this, basically just the silhouettes of the trees, I'm going to notice a lot that I don't necessarily like about the way that I've drawn the silhouettes. And so then, once I've done this, I'm probably going to want to go back and change some things. And so, hey, cement time. Yeah, so the reason I'm not putting a lot of detail into them right now is because of that. They won't stay as simple. They will get more detailed at some point, just not yet. Actually, they'll get detailed fairly shortly because I'm almost to the edge of the screen. So, here we go. Almost there. This is always the best part. Oh, I haven't put any gaps recently. I mean, I don't want gaps, so I guess I just won't put very many gaps. Whoops. Thanks, tablet. Yeah, I totally want to switch that other window. Thanks, tablet. Yeah, gaps are not my favorite anyway, so, yeah. We'll just go... I'm going to have to do the seam at some point. Actually, if the front layer... No, we have to do the seam for the ground, so we'll have to do the seam at some point, but, Breeze Jason. So something to mention is that, I don't take suggestions on this game. I don't know if that was actually a suggestion for this game. Oh, wait. Oh, well, okay, so if you want a game about a tiny mountain volcano, then you are in luck. Yeah, oh yeah, so just to mention, I don't accept suggestions for this game because this is an independent project. So while I appreciate that you might like to help, I am not accepting that at this time. In fact, I typically rinse those from chat. So if you could abstain from commenting as such, that would actually be quite helpful. Thank you. Yeah, so here's the game. that has a volcano in it. It's and actually your description of this game, even though you probably haven't seen it before, is fairly prophetic because yes, when you click on it, well, I won't say any more than that. I think I think no one's actually beaten this game before, like pay with an extra Y. I don't think anyone has ever beaten it before. Like I've told people how to beat it, and then they're like, oh, but I don't think anyone's actually beaten it of like their own accord. Admittedly, it's a little bit tricky, but the funny thing is sometimes I actually like show. It's like sometimes I'll actually beat the game on stream, but even if I do that and then I because the way to beat the game is a little bit tricky. Like even sometimes I'll do that, and then people still won't know how to beat the game, which is kind of funny. But I don't know. I made this was another game that I made for a jam. I think I spent a little while on this game, just balancing it and getting it how I felt I wanted it. But I yeah, I didn't spend a lot of time. Like it was less than a week altogether, all told. I think it was like oh, I think it was like 30 hours. When all told, I was yeah, because it took me like a week to work on it, but I didn't like do a marathon for it. I just worked on it like a little bit each day. Uh, Yay! Look, everyone's happy. Everyone's happy forever. Little stars and stuff. Komega, if you recall correctly, uh, you were permabanned from this channel for a while, and you were permabanned from this channel because you went into like this rabbit hole of like just instead of being a good chat participant, you were so worried about why you were getting banned from other people's channels that you just couldn't stop talking about it. Um, so yesterday's stream is in the archive, or Friday's stream is in the archive, or whatever day it was. It's in the archive, so you can go look it up and you can see what happened. Um, but I'm not gonna waste time on stream having a heart to heart with you about how not to be a troll. Sorry. uh, oh. Oh yeah. So BG Jason. Something I should mention. Oh yeah. So that game. This game, Fino, that we looked at a second ago. This was made for a Signal Jam where, like I said, we all worked together on stream, and this was for the very first one, and then we for the second one, what? Oh, RCTY, not RTCY. I need a better 404 page for my site. For the second Signal Jam, we made Rogue City. And so yeah, so for Signal Jams, we all work together on stream, and like we all like put our heads together, and like we come up with a game. Like I don't make one of the nice things about Signal Jams is that I don't have to make art because other people make art for me, and I just have to put the pieces together, which is nice. um, and then for the third Signal Jam, we made there have been 4 Signal Jams, and so. I don't know exactly when the next one will be, but we're gonna hold another one eventually, and when we do, you should be there, cause the fun part about it is that we just do exactly what we're doing, what you're talking about is like we just we put together suggestions and like we come up with ideas and we actually then we actually make the game, so I'll. Just all right. I'll stop wasting time on my website. But just the last thing I'll link to is Tidor. This was the game we just had 2 weeks ago. We had a Signal Jam. It was the 4th one, and this was the game that we made for it. It was Tidor. Excuse me. I didn't mean to sound overly harsh, Kamega, but the gist of the answer to your question is you said something trollish, and I don't know. I because you were permabanned, or for the same reasons you were permabanned for a while. I guess I just have like a low tolerance for that sort of thing. I'll leave that layer there for a second. Oh yeah. Oh right. I guess I could kind of do something similar that I did with the background layer for this layer for the snow layer. Wait, ground snow. Oh yeah, I need another layer for tree snow. This will be near ground tree snow. Yeah, I can kind of like because the whole tops of the trees, like we know that those are supposed to be snow covered, so yeah, that should be easy enough to just cut across as before. I'll use like a 6-width brush. Doop-a-doop, doop-a-doop-a-doop. This time I will be a little more a little more careful because this is the foremost layer, or not literally the foremost layer, but this is the layer that just takes up the most screen space, so it's gonna be really obvious if I mess up. Oh right. Yeah. So I'm adding a little bit of roundness because the trees are supposed to be like roundish. But again, not spending too much time here because this is I'm gonna go in and add and like texture the trees as well. Excuse me. Doop-a-doop. Because ideally, like the trees will all look like kind of like this one once they're done, except with more shading. Kind of like, I don't know. These were the 2 prototype trees we drew earlier. Whoops, wrong layer. Tree, near ground tree snow. That does sound like a pretty good page. Wait, hold on. Okay, whoops. Too far. Nope, what did I just disappear? Oh, layer 15. Oh yeah, layer 15 is near ground, grounds, snow. Oh, oops, I have 2 layers. I'll call this snow mounds. Alright. Alright. And then, yeah. Alright, so snow is drawing on this layer. It's drawing in these little bands of, doop-a-doop. Yeah, I'm not like a web developer, the same way I'm not an artist. Like, technically I have a website, and technically I make art, but, like, I don't really consider myself. Like, I don't have any real experience there. And it's not like really what it's not in my past and it's not in my future. But I do have a website, so I should probably learn enough of it to get by. It's one of those things though that like I think to myself I should do that, and then I don't know. We'll see if I do it. I might do it someday, eventually. It could happen. Doop-a-doop. So yeah, the reason I drew those prototype-y trees earlier, the ones on that other layer, the ones that neither of them came out quite right, but they each show like roughly what I was planning on doing with them, is so that when I have to draw like a million trees in a row, like I'll have like some sense of like what I want, how I want to be drawing these, and I don't have to like kind of just like do the guesswork here because I'll have done more of it up front. Snow-covered trees. Oops, wrong, wrong spot. Snow-covered trees. So, as happened last time, they probably just look like little green mountains for starters. But yeah, that's where that treatment comes in. And I think before I go through and treat them, I might I don't know, I might draw in the snow planes, like the falling snow. And I'll probably do like a color balance, not like a color balance, but like a tonal balance on these layers to get like for example, sorry, like like the contrast between the clouds in the far background and the oh, maybe I should have three cloud layers, or like three tones to the cloud. Just, yeah, I think that would not be too much, because right, so I want the dark hills in the background, but then I also want I want some contrast between these trees in the midground and the sky. It is occurring to me now that some of that contrast actually will come in when I darken the. Yeah, no, I probably don't need to do that now, because the other thing I'm going to do is to darken the shading on these trees, specifically the snowy parts. So near ground or mid ground tree snow. So if these are like alpha value of 85, we can say like maybe 77. Maybe will be like the shaded sides of these trees, something like that. I don't know if it'll be exactly like this, but that will get them to stand out a little bit more. But and then the other thing is that we talked about before, the stuff in this environment will be a little bit more indistinct than usual. Like it'll be a little harder to make out the fine detail, just because of all of the snow. So let's actually see what it'll look like when we actually add in the snow, because I don't even know how it's going to look exactly. And we might be able to lighten up some of those layers, or like darken other layers, or do something just so that we can get it to look right. The snowflakes on the very foremost layer, I think, will be plain white, because they're going to be very small. So in order to get them to show up at all, I think. Well, actually, no. I always make things way too small. I might want to make them like comically large. Like Well, let's see. Let's see how I would in fact care to make them. Let's try. Alright. So I'll add in a new layer for. This is like the foreground. This is the very frontmost layer. Foreground snow. So this will be all the way at the top. We can show the adventures for now. And then, so in this layer, this is like the layer where the snow is going to be the biggest. And I'm thinking brush size 4. Oh, this program is so bad at making dots. So bad at making dots. Oops, that's the wrong color. Yeah, so let's just use like literally like plain white. You're not supposed to use like plain white when drawing things. But like, yeah, I think this might be about right. And I'm probably actually not even going to. Actually, that might be a bit thick. Yeah? Yeah, because there are going to be 2 layers. That's probably about how thick we want the snow to be, but we want it to be half as thick on either layer, so that it'll be about that thick with both of the layers combined. So, yeah. So, like, let's make it about this thick, roughly. And I'm not going to go through and. Well, for one thing, I should. I'm not going to draw all these dots for like the whole image. I'm going to, at a certain point, there's going to be like some inner repetition with the snowflakes, and I don't think that's going to be super much of a problem, because if anyone's sitting there watching the exact patterns of the snowflakes, like, good for them. Wow, good for them. That's all I can really say about that. I'll try and do enough variety that it's not overtly samey. But alright, so new layer for, this will just be snow contrast. I think it's probably a good habit to start naming my layers as I draw them, because I spend a lot of time wondering which layer is which. Alright, and the snow contrast layer is just, it's going to be like, just awful. Just truly horrendous. But the whole point of it is just to, so that I can see where I'm drawing the snowflakes. Because trying to draw the snowflakes with, on a white background is like, it's really hard to tell where my pen actually touched. Excuse me. Well, okay, so, have we been to the river? Because, well, okay, so the animation from the snow is not going to be super detailed. Well, it's a little hard to describe. Basically, the way this, yeah, so the snow will kind of animate to some extent. It's not going to be, like, super, super detailed. But, there's going to be two sheets of these, so these little dots I'm making, there's going to be two sheets of them. One sheet will draw in front of the characters, and one sheet will draw behind the characters, but in front of the rest of the background. And then, the way they're going to animate is they will shift, excuse me, they'll shift with the rest of the background, but they'll also fall, of course, because snow falls. So they're not going to like swirl around or anything, like anything crazy like that, but the two sheets will be sliding separately, so it won't, it's hard to describe, but like it won't look completely flat, like it won't look completely like just like dots like sliding across the screen. Although it won't also be, yeah, it'll be somewhere in between, I think. So hopefully it'll, you know, it won't be completely, like hopefully you'll be able to tell that it's snow. But you'll also be able to tell that it's animation of snow. You're not going to accidentally, like, mistake that you're looking at, like, at a video of snow footage or anything like that. Sorry, one second. And that's a combination, excuse me. That's a combination of a few factors, like I've been saying before. They mostly boil down to, like I'm making the art as, I'm really trying to deliver on like the level of art that I've established, which is admittedly not a high level of art, but I'm trying to, you know, like the whole parallaxing thing, like that's something that, like I didn't add the parallaxing because, you know, it takes great artistic skill. I added the parallaxing because I understand what parallaxing is and I understand how it works. And like that, my ability to implement parallaxing didn't have anything to do with artistic abilities, really. It was actually just a way to make the game look okay, despite the fact that I'm actually relatively lacking in artistic skills. So I probably don't want the pattern to be, or like the snowfall, to be super samey. Like I will want a little bit of variety within the snow pattern, within like the snowflakes. And then yeah, like I said before, the snow might loop, because I don't feel like, actually, oh, my tablet's actually behaving itself, which is kind of nice. Because this isn't taking nearly as long as I thought it would. A lot of times my tablet like freaks out if I try and like make dots and it connects them for some reason. I don't know what that's about, but oh, you know what's fun is I have to do a vertical seam on this snow, or on the snow pattern, because the snow doesn't just scroll horizontally. Oh, nighttime scenes. The cave is probably the closest. Well, okay, so there's no sky, right? So like, the cave is probably the closest to that. I have I do like kind of play, well, so, okay, so the I do kind of like cheat the world to different states as we like go from environment to environment. So like one of the things you'll notice, oops, I'm not drawing snowflakes on top of this guy. I should have the little guys because I know roughly the scale at this point. Yeah, like, so I do kind of change the state of the world. So like you'll notice like the shading, like, I mean, like the shading changes from like environment to environment. So it kind of implies that the sun has changed at least position, if not like literally going through like a full solar cycle. So like I don't know. I haven't like there isn't literally like a dark scene. Well, so the cave is the darkest. Um, there isn't like a dark outdoor scene yet, but I guess I do kind of do that. I was thinking of actually putting in like literally like a solar cycle. Like I was literally thinking of like having a sun that like lit separately from like everything and was like always in the background. And so like I don't know. I decided not to do that because this is really samey. But I guess that's fine. Yeah, I guess that's fine. Uh, and actually, I don't probably need to draw any more of these. At least not yet. I can leverage a little bit of I can leverage a little bit of the rep. Oh wow, my bandwidth is freaking out. If the stream disconnects, it's not because I'm going. It's not because I'm shutting off the stream. It's because bandwidth is like freaking out. Sorry. All right, yeah. Hold on. I'm just gonna borrow these, and that way I don't have to. I don't have to redo. Like I'll fill in the gaps so that it looks okay, but I don't really need to redraw all those dots all the time. I'll just go and fill in the details. Uh, oh yeah, I was talking about the sun. I was thinking of putting in like an actual sun. The thing is like the sun really could only change during the transitions. It couldn't really change during the like as the scene was rendered flatly because right, because the lighting doesn't change in the scenes. It's the lighting is static. Sorry, I was like drawing a careful line while I was thinking, and so as a result, my brain it took a little longer to process that one than usual. But right, all right. So that we'll save a little bit of time, and then yeah, I'm just gonna well. Uh, yeah, no, I'm just gonna do a little bit more of that. uh, and then then I have to do the mid layer. I kind of have to do this again for the mid layer because the mid layer is gonna have slightly different size snowflakes. They're gonna be slightly smaller. Not by much though. Not by much at all. Oh wow, that's a lot of space. Hey, it's vent time. Alright. I realize there are gaps in these patterns, but I'll have to. Right. So the plan is not literally just like to copy and paste like literally the whole thing. I might even go back in some of these spots and change like the internal patterning so that it's again it's like it won't require quite so many like dot 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 dot. So right now the game has 4 different environments, and so snow will be the 5th environment. I think that's how many environments I'm going to have for like the first major version of the game. Although technically, yeah. So like once I have that, technically I had 3 for the first major version of the game, but like I also haven't stopped working on it really. The only time I stopped working on side quest was to do Signal Jam a couple weeks ago. So like yeah, so once I'm done with the 5th environment, I was talking about the desert earlier today, and I was thinking like, oh, maybe I should do a 6th one, and then maybe I'll be done. I don't know. It really depends how long it takes me to finish this one. Because if this environment takes me like all day, I don't want to spend another whole week working on side quests. Because I really should be working on my next project. Because I've been saying I should be working on my next project for so long now that I really should be working on my next project. Oh yeah, the ones that clip the edges, I think I'll just have to delete. But that's fine. I'll just have to delete and redraw this. All right, I'm just gonna draw the rest of the dots. I think, because from this point there's a little extra space, but it'll be fine. All right, so yeah, that's generally the pattern, and now I just have to justify that. So Like, for example, this part where it's clearly too thin. I'm going to make it fairly uniform. I was thinking like I could make it thinner and thicker in places, but I think I'm mostly just going to make it fairly uniform. Because this visual effect is not super high tech. So I think if I just keep it simple, it won't draw, it'll be noticeable, but it won't like draw too much attention. And then I think hopefully that'll work out. Okay. I don't have to do too close to the edges because I have to do the seam anyways. The vertical seam and the horizontal seam. Because if I don't, they'll just be like these noticeable bars where there's like no snow for some reason. And or these like strips that run like vertically and horizontally. And we don't want that. My next project is IMA. Oh yeah, sorry, we looked at it for a minute earlier, but I didn't actually link to it. I don't think so, or I don't think I did. Maybe I did, I forget. Well, if I did, then we're linking to it again. This is, this project I did for a jam, and then I liked it, and then I think I'm going to actually make it a real project. So what, it's actually like, IMA is, I don't know, I call it IMA because I don't have another name for it, and that's like that's what I literally named the project files. IMA, yeah, I made it for a jam, and then I've actually worked on it a little bit since then, but it's still still not very far along, and so like the version that I made for the jam is the one that's on my website currently, and then yeah, I just want to make it a full game and actually like release it for like platforms and stuff. So yeah, that's honestly I should have started working on it already, really. Like I should have I really should have gotten to it by now. Whoops. Yeah, side quest I just ended up, I don't know, like I got to a point with side quest where like I knew what I would have to do to continue working on it, and I was like, yeah, I'll do that. And so I just continued working on it. And I don't necessarily regret that, because I actually like side quest. I think it's cute and fun. Or I think it's at least worth trying. And like some people have had a very positive reaction to it, so that's cool. Could be a sign that I'm doing something right. I don't know. It also like I like it as a game. I don't think it's nothing. It's like it's a new game, right? But it's a new game of like an entirely established concept. Like it fits in the genre of puzzle game, and it probably even fits in like I don't know if there's like a maze subgenre of puzzle game, but it's basically like a puzzle maze, right? And the thing I like about side quest is that it's none of those things. Like you can't. I don't know. If a side quest existed before side quest existed, I didn't know about it. I'd be interested to see it, because like to the extent of my knowledge, like I mean there are gamified Twitch channels, but there aren't like Twitch. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, but I like it, and it's so. Anyways, the thing about Journey is, Journey was the dev name for SideQuest. JRNE was the dev name for SideQuest. I sometimes accidentally call it that when I'm not thinking, and yeah. So there's just something that has attracted me and stuck with me about Journey SideQuest, because it's kind of special like that. My high score record on Bbox. Ooh, that's a good question. I keep changing the scoring systems in Bbox, and so I don't remember if my current high score is still valid. I know I've gotten. I don't remember. I honestly don't remember what it is in the current system. I want to say it's like 800-ish, but I don't remember if I changed the scoring balance since I did that. Hold on, I'll just play it for a second, and then and we can see how good I am at Bbox. I'll even show you my special build. Actually, my special build, quote unquote special build, is the one that we looked at earlier. It's this one here. So I won't play. I probably won't play a full game, but we can get a sense of like how good I'm doing based on a little bit of not bad, just one missing. Pretty good. 28 points. Full stack back. Of my oh, look at that. Bam. I'm off to a pretty good start, huh? Alright, wow. What piece could I get that's not gonna mess me up? I don't know, let's find out. Oh, yeah, look at that! I'm really good at this game, you guys. I don't mean to brag, but I'm pretty good at this game. It might have something to do with the fact that I made it, but, yeah, you know. Ooh, bust. Bust! Alright, what do I do here? I gotta go like this, I think. I think the best thing I can do right now is to go like this, like this, like this. That's not, that could be worse. But I definitely busted on that one. I mean, it's a risk. You gotta take risks, right? Nothing in life is, nothing in life worth having is completely without risk. Speaking of which, oh, did I bust again? No, 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 we got this. We got this, guys. This is good. This is good. We got it. We got it. Bam. Look at that. Yeah, so I probably got like 800 something. I know I've gotten over 1,000, but I wasn't gonna say over 1,000 at first because I could not for the life of me remember how much what it was like actually. Oh no! Oh, I have exactly the right number of pieces, but these pieces are just happen to be perfectly incompatible, or not perfectly incompatible, but just like slightly incompatible. So I think that's the best I can do actually. Sorry. Yeah. When I, the first day that I made or like the first, what was it? It was like when I made B-Box, the first day that, like the first build that I posted, my friends got into a score war, which was really cool because I don't know, I haven't been making games independently for very long, and that was the first time like people really reacted like positively to one of the games that I made. Before I came up with Ima, B-Box was actually the front runner for games that I would make into real games. And actually, I'm doing really well. I'm like only a few points down. Huh. Well, all right. So I'm clearly taking way too long too. So I won't actually play through altogether. But maybe I'll save that. I'll save that if I can save, if I can remember to save that browser tab open. I'll finish that game off stream and I'll let you know how high I got as score. And I might so I'm gonna rinse your chat, Jason, just because I told you a number of times that I'm not accepting suggestions, and if you could, like, please refrain if you could, because I can make you refrain by banning you, but I don't want to do that. So thank you to everyone for for being such wonderful and considerate chat participants. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe after I do Ima, maybe I will make B-Box a thing, because I do like it. I have really big ideas for B-Box as to what it could be someday, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. All right, so copy all of this. What am I doing first? I'll do. Oh no, actually, don't copy all of it. Deselect. Copy. What? Actually, before I do the seams, I should do. I should just see how it looks. So let's get rid of the snow contrast layer, and let's show the adventures again. Are these all the layers, or are we still hiding some? Alright, and so then the other thing to do, actually, yeah, just for starters. So wait, layer 3, what is layer, oh, layer 3 is, adventures, or plural, adventures, and then, right, that's not, oh, this is not an important layer, we can delete that layer. Oh yes. Okay. So the other thing I'm gonna do is uh, yeah. No, I mean I'm gonna have a whole tutorial system and everything. Like I think I said this already a couple times. Is that the build that's online right now is the build that I made for the jam. Like that project I literally made in 28 hours. Um, it right. So the whole point of like making it an actual game is making it an actual game. So hold your horses there. Uh, all right. So right. Oh yeah, I was gonna add in a near foreground snow layer. I think I'm just gonna copy the foreground snow layer, put it on the near foreground snow layer, and then just like scale it. Actually, should I scale it like uniformly, or like should I scale it like? Yeah, whatever. I'll just do it. I'll just do it like okay-ish. Wait, what am I trying to do here? Uh, well, here, maybe I'll just offset it at first. Alright, so this is like roughly what it'll look like, I guess. Oh, and then near foreground snow layer will be underneath the adventures. So it'll look roughly like that, I suppose. Except, yeah, no, I need to scale this one down because the snowflakes won't all be the same size. Um, so, I don't know, wait, not image, layers, resize. Oh, rotate zoom, I guess. Zoom. Zoom? Is that? Oh yeah, that's what it sounds like. Alright. So let's go to like 0.5. Oh, that's a bit small. Yeah, so like 0.75. That might be better. Yeah. Alright, oh, what got kind of cut off too. But like, yeah, I guess, I don't know, this will be roughly what it looks like, I guess. Yay, snow. Alright, when did I get into game design? Um, right out of school, I knew, right, so when I graduated, I knew I didn't want to do what I went to school for, and I also didn't really know, like, it was, like, I don't know, for some reason it took me the longest time to figure out that I wanted to make games. Like, I guess I knew, like, in my mind, like, I wanted to make games, but I was raised by, like, two doctors, like, both my parents were doctors, and, like, I know this is really pathetic, but like the first thing that like one of my parents said when they found out that I wanted to be like a game developer was like, "Oh, that's a real noble profession," right? It's like so I think like I don't know, I think I was raised like thinking that like games were a waste of time. And Shadow FX, welcome. Thank you for following. I appreciate your viewership and your support. Thank you. And welcome. Um So yeah, I think I never thought that like being a game developer was like realistic, and so it took me a while to figure it out. And then so when I graduated, I was like, I'm pretty sure this is what I want to do, and so I started looking for jobs, right? But because I needed like an income to pay off my debts, but I uh, I oh yeah, so until I found a job, I just started like working on my own projects. Actually, the very first project that I started on was it wasn't Hero, but Hero is like a remake of the very first project that I ever started on, which is why I spent so much time on it. Honestly, I don't know. Like I'm happy with how it came out, although I don't think I actually will ever really do anything else with it. I think I just made it for old time's sake. Anyways, so yeah, it was like I guess it was like so I guess when did, so I yeah so the first game that I actually started making myself was Hero, or like the original version of Hero, and it that was like yeah, it was like when I was fresh out of school, just looking for a job. But like I mentioned before, I'd worked in software development before game development, so it wasn't like the first time I had to think about like how to make software. Just a very different type of software that I had to make. Um, oh man. Excuse me. All right. So yeah, I like that enough that I'll delete the contents of this layer for now and start making this other layer look correct. So right. So the first thing that I have to do is I have to fix both of the seams, both the horizontal and the vertical seam. And if you don't know what that means, it'll make sense in the near future. I'm going to cut this. Oh, well, yeah, no, this doesn't really matter. I'm just going to cut off this chunk from this edge. Oops, undo. I'm going to copy this chunk without actually cutting it because I need the selection to stay there. I'm going to invert selection, and I'm going to actually, whatever. I didn't need to use nearly as big of a chunk, but I'm going to slide this all the way to the edge and line it up precisely at the very edge of the screen. So slide this over. So it's very exactly lined up at the edge of the screen, right? Yep, very edge. And it's vertically aligned too. Good. And then we go back over to this edge, and we paste in the chunk that we had. Why does it always paste in a weird location? If I could change one thing about Paint.net, it would either be the thing about how I can't divorce the spill tool sample option and the picker tool sample option, or the fact that it pastes in weird locations. Deselect. Alright, and so like that, I don't know. There's just a few snowflakes missing here, frankly. Because if this is where the edge had been previously, but I don't usually leave, do I have the right, yeah. I don't usually leave spaces that big, so that's a little too samey. Yeah. Alright, so now it doesn't, hold on. We can do this. Just a little more normal than it did a second ago. Anyways, now we have to do the same thing vertically, and that'll be a little more involved. But yeah, like I was saying before, I don't have to actually cut off as much. Oh yeah, all right. Sorry, I have to do the zoomed out just so I can select to the very edges. So copy that, edit, invert selection, and then we just slide this down. Oops, you're not sliding, are you? Slide, I say. Slide. Yeah, to the very, very bottom. Very, very bottom. Very bottom. There we go. Alright, and then we paste in this stuff, and then we slide this to the very top. And so because the top edge and the bottom edge, like the new top edge and the new bottom edge, used to be like next to each other. They used to be exact like pixel neighbors. Hey, if Dogland, how's it going? Yeah, we're snowing. Here, this is the snow layer itself, of course, but then we also have like background stuff going on too, and it's a work in progress. So please don't judge. But we have like I have an example of like what the snow treatment is going to look like eventually. So we're going to do like trees kind of like this a little bit. I don't know. And yeah, it's going to be so it's going to be like a snowy. So what we did on Friday is we added in the tech that the snow can actually like fall and so like we have so right it's not like static against the background. It'll actually drop as and so on and so forth. So yeah, right. So I'm just when you arrived, we were just in the middle of fixing up the seam. So like there's this there's this line that cuts across the image now where like right around this height, it's just like there's this weird gap in the snow, like no dots were drawn at that height, and then some dots were drawn near that height, and so they got cut in half. So we're just gonna yeah, fix that up real quick. So like first I'll just like erase the ones that got cut in half at the edge of the screen, because those ones, I mean, we can put snowflakes there, but we have to redraw them because the other ones got cut off. So yeah, and then once we finish that, we're almost done. I to make the other layer, to make the other snow layer, I might actually just copy this layer, resize it, and because that actually seemed fine. That actually, oh, thank you, thank you, if Doug then. The yeah, the resized approach I think actually looks okay. Because like this, like it's technically it will be the same pattern too, but like this pattern is so like so small, and it's overlaid over a much more detailed. I mean, not much more detailed, but it's laid over like a reasonably detailed background, such that I mean, worst case scenario, it somehow is noticeable. I don't know how it could possibly become noticeable, that slight difference. But like hypothetically, okay, maybe I try that and it's obvious that I use that trick. In which case I'll just have to come back and do it in earnest. And either way, I think I don't know. I think it stands enough of a chance of working that it's worth a shot. So we'll try that. Yeah, typically I don't like reusing art, because the more you reuse the same art instead of making new art, the more repetitious it gets. So the other snow layer is going to be smaller, and it's going to be, so this is the one that draws in the very front. So these snowflakes will draw on top of everything. And then the next snow layer will draw on top of almost everything except for the adventurers. And I mean, if I find that I need it, I could go in and add another snow layer. I'm not yet set up for that other snow layer, because I was thinking 2 would probably be enough. But yeah, I mean, if I decide I want it, I could put a snow layer behind the first layer of trees too. I mean, I was thinking like the way the depth, the way like we perceive depth in snow, I'm thinking like that'll probably be around the point where it becomes indistinct and you don't see individual flakes. You just see like the fine. So like the reason we made the reason we made like the back layer of trees, like here, if I had the front layer of trees, like the back layer of trees are a little fogged out, like they, it's just I think like I'm hoping with the snow that we're putting in, we can either tweak the middle ground layer to make it look like there's a haze or like a veil of snow between you and it, or we can add that other snow layer in if we need it. Yeah, so all right. So let's put our snow contrast back up for a second. Hide or show the near field, near foreground snow layer, which is currently blank, but we'll paste onto it this snow layer. We will scale this snow layer by 75%, and then oh, why did it? I was hoping the selection size would scale with it, but I guess we can just so select all. I just want to move it so that it's up against the edges. I was hoping the selection size would scale, because then I wouldn't have to eyeball it. It would just, wait, why is it moving so? Wow, why is it translating by like huge amounts every time? Usually it goes by like pixel by pixel. But whatever. Oh, sorry for putting my face so close to the camera. Why is it translating by such huge jumps? That's really annoying. Usually it goes pixel by pixel, which is significantly less annoying. Deselect, select all. There it goes. I don't know what that was about. Alright, so that's exactly up against the edge of the screen. So now, deselect, select all, copy, paste, and then because we scaled down a tiled texture, we can tile this one, and then we will have to redo the seam. But oh, that's the other thing. So I scaled this down. Oh. Yeah, no, this is fine. I scaled it down by 75%, and I was thinking I had used brush size 3, and so scaling down set 3 by 75% would not have been a real brush size. Like, it would have given me just a weird fractional brush size. But no, I used brush size 4, so scaling it down by 75% will give us a brush size of 3. So to fill in the gaps, we can go back and that should work out. All right. Yes, if I had used brush size 3, I would instead want to scale it down by 66%, so that way I could use brush size 2, because math. But no, we're good. All right, copy this, and then paste this, and then slide it on down to here, and then line these up. Oh, there we go. That was easy. Alright, so then, right, and so now we have to redo the seams here, because we scaled it by an arbitrary amount, like the seams are no longer correct. So now we just do what we did before, what we just did a moment ago, where we copy one edge, edit, invert selection, oops, slide this selection, oops, slide tool please. Slide the selection down to the very edge. Doop-a-doop, doop-a-doop-a-doop. There we go. And then paste this piece back on the edge. So the good news is that we're almost done with the snow layer. And once we're done with the snow layer, we can go back to slightly more interesting art. We will have to eventually do the seams on the slightly more interesting art, but we don't have to worry about that just yet. See, so these seams got a little arbitrary again. So let's clean up these partial flakes, and then just dot in a few here. Maybe that's fine. Hey, it's my time. I'll do a seam, and then I'll click just random other places. I'll be like, oh, we need one here and here. Which is fine, but that's completely irrelevant to the fact that we had the seam there. It's just, oh, by the way. Excuse me. Alright, so we did the horizontal seam, and now we just do the vertical seam, and then we are good with this chunk o snow. So copy that, edit, invert selection. Is the other, oh, I already answered that question. Slide. So, oops, I offset it laterally because I'm a sloppy typist. Right, I offset it laterally. Oh no, I offset it laterally. Oh no. Alright, we're back on track. That's close. What's the event? Oh yeah, Doomsday Device. Is that correct? Seems a bit weird, but whatever. I guess that's correct technically. Right? That's against the very bottom edge, right? Yeah. Alright. Sometimes it shows a little ants marching along the edge, and sometimes it doesn't. This program is just, it has ideas sometimes, and sometimes those ideas don't make complete sense. But whatever. Paste this. Oh, is it perfectly lined up because I pasted it in the right place? Hey! Sometimes it's perfectly lined up because I pasted it in the right place. That's cool. All right, so now one last time we just oh wow, this seam. Look at this seam. Hey, enjoy. All right. Thanks for stopping by again. Good to see you. Always a pleasure. All right, so first I'm just gonna go through and erase the partials. Which apparently we got a lot this time. I guess we just got lucky. Just like really nailed it. I don't know if that was a partial or a full one, but whatever. If I delete and erase like some of these flakes again, that's actually kind of good in a way, because it's not like it super matters, but like it is technically diversifying the pattern so that where that similar pattern appears in other locations, which is cases and locations combined together, technically the pattern won't be at the same repetition anymore. I don't know. Silver lining, I guess. Almost there. And then, yeah, and then we get to detail the trees, which, I mean, so one of the nice things about this background is that, oh, those are partials. It's a bit formulaic, and I say nice because in terms of like production, like in terms of the actual overall outcome, you know, it won't be like really. I mean, you'll feel like you're in the middle of the woods, right? And if you look at the woods, you'll get the sense of what the woods are. Like you don't really have to see every detail of the woods in order to understand like where you are or what's going on. So like I don't know. I guess like an environment that was like very richly detailed and like every corner had like something, excuse me, something like new and interesting in it. Like that would be really cool. But then also. That would take a long time to make. So when I say it's fortuitous that that this background is not like that, what I mean is that this background is not going to take as long as like a very intricate or like the concept art for this background. You saw me draw it like at the beginning of the stream, and it was just that little tree that had snow on it. Like that was I was calling it a prototype because like yeah, no, it's just like. That was it. It was just can we make this tree look like it has snow on it? And then because we could do it once, I knew we could do it like 100 times over, and so we were good to go. Excuse me. Yeah, sometimes repetition. It's not necessarily a bad thing. If you handle it correctly, and I'm hoping I handle it correctly because. The end result is that we can have a snowy background without having to spend undue amounts of time. I mean, I spent enough time Friday getting the tech set up. For people who watched on Friday, we went through and we added in these special layers so that not only will the snow fall when we want the snow to fall, but we can also yeah, so one of the other things that I'll do a little later on is I'll basically like come back to this texture, the snowfall texture, and I'll like fade it out. Like I'll go through and I'll like erase it I'll erase in swaths, like sections of the well, okay, so like when you walk into the forest, or wait, is it into the forest or out of the forest? When you walk out of the forest, no, not the forest isn't connected at all. When you walk from the mountains into the it's mountains into snow, right? Yeah, mountains into snow. The snowfall will pick up slowly at first, and then it'll start to come down thicker and thicker. And then when you walk from the snow into the river, it's not going to cut out like suddenly. It will there'll be less snow, and then it'll look more natural. So cool. I'm gonna call this done. So I should save all this because I haven't saved in a while, and if my computer crashed, that would be so sad. There are definite oh my gosh, there are definite crashes in Paint.net. I'm a crazy person for not having saved more often. is it possible to get a single square? You mean like the one pieces? So like in excuse me. I like that you've taken to VBox. In yeah, so in VBox, if you cash out of everything, then I don't know if this is what you mean, but like the way so like these little dots are basically your unit pieces, and like for example, when you add to your deck, like this block is made of 4 smaller blocks. So if you add this, it costs 4 of your blocks to like add this to your deck, because you actually have the same number of blocks regardless. You always have 90 little blocks, but the yeah the your deck is basically just how you clump them together, kind of. So, but this is a deck that you can play with, and if I play with this deck, then I will always get little dots. So, if this is what you meant by getting a single square, then the answer is yes. And if you're so inclined, you could have all the single squares you want. All the single squares. I think by default, the game starts with 5 of those in your deck. So it's you have 33 pieces in your deck, and only 5 of them are single squares. So you don't have a very strong like you can technically get one, but the chances are pretty slim. Yeah, if you want more little blocks, you could like just instead of going so to completely extreme, you could just cash in a few, and now there are 10 little blocks and 36 things altogether. So so yeah, look, see, we got a little block. I don't know if that's what you're asking, but there's the thing. There's the thing about stuff. All right. Excuse me. What was I doing here? I think I was just calling it done. Oh, I was saving it, yeah. And, snow. Yeah. Alright, and where'd our trees go? Oh, they're there. They're just, Wait, what? Those are our near ground trees? Oh, no, I hit our near ground trees. Alright, that's, yeah, I was like, I thought our near ground trees were brighter than that. Alright. So, yeah, let's look at our prototype again. Yeah, that should be easy enough. So the way we accomplish this is basically we just, oh, I guess I drew these snow lines a little bit low. Basically the way we accomplished this before was, we just cut through the lower parts with, oh, well, the whole thing is shrinking down, I guess, because the prototype was way too big. Oh, wow. So that seems like a pretty good score, Days Flash. um, uh, yeah, I don't think I've gotten much higher than that before, so it might be a tight race. I'll when I get to it though, I'll finish that other game that I have and open another tab, and I can like when I make a real game, it'll have like I want it to have like leaderboards and stuff like that, so like you can actually like you don't have to just like right now the only way to save your score is just to like take a screenshot of it. All right, so yeah, let's do this whole thing. Let's do it to other trees, and I guess for now I should probably hide this now. Right? I guess. Alright, yeah, no, I should. I wish I could have the snow in here and animating, while I draw. That'd be really nice. Alright, so, save that. And then, alright, let's go to the NG tree snow, near ground tree snow, and so we need the snow color, and then we also need the eraser tool. So let's switch between those as needed. Brush size, I want to say 8 would be good for this job. So yeah, I'm just gonna start like arbitrarily, like kind of near prototype, just so I can remind myself what it looks like. And actually, I guess we'll do a lot more erasing than we will. Whoops. That's that thing where like sometimes if I draw dots too fast, anyways. All right, so. Hold on, that doesn't look right. So let's, how did we, huh, I think we did a better job of it before. I guess, what is it? It's like, yeah, it's about like cutting out regions, I guess. It's not about like, yeah, this is like slightly better. It's like, yeah, it's about the horizontal regions that make it look like they're like actual like boughs that the snow is collecting on. It's not just collecting in like arbitrary places. So hopefully it'll get a little more natural to draw as we go, and it won't, it'll probably speed up as we go a little bit. But I think that's satisfactory. So yeah, let's continue on. Doop-a-doop, doop-a-doop-a-doop. I don't know, kind of like that. And I guess, yeah, I don't want to overwhelm with the, oops, wrong tool. I don't want to overwhelm with the snow, because, I don't know, it's supposed to be, snow, but within reason. Like, it's not literally blanketing everything. Oh, and the other thing I need to do is come back in with the deeper tone for the shading, but I won't worry about that just yet. Doop-a-doop. So basically what I'm doing here is just striping in like a few layers of like either. Like, because if you switch between oh, actually, hold on. As soon as I said that, I remembered, wait, that technique is what gets me into trouble. It might be okay here. But that technique is the thing that, when I do it, I tend to get too finely detailed. Because the thing about it is I'm using a brush size 8, but I don't actually... But what that technique does is it makes it feel like I'm using a smaller brush size. And yeah, that's when I ended up getting way too fine-grained, is when I let myself go overboard with that tool. I think it should be okay, but I do have to watch myself. I don't want to get any more fine-grained than that. And this actually might be slightly too fine-grained. So I'll try and keep it bigger. Because like the whole, I can hide the adventures for now. The whole deal here is that I want the background to be like, I don't know, it's all very cartoony, and so the background is not supposed to have like very like small needly. Well, all right, I guess as a point of comparison, like the reeds and the grass in the river are, this is not much more detailed than that. So as long as I don't get more detailed than that, maybe the reeds will be like the most detailed thing that I put in like a background. I think that would probably be a pretty good bar. Wow. I did not use this technique effectively. Hold on, let's back it up a little bit. Yeah, you know what? I should probably because this is supposed to like represent layering. Basically, what I'm doing is I should probably work from the bottom up, I guess. I don't know. Let's see how that works. So if I start down here, and then I work my way up, how's that gonna play? Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, maybe that's like the correct way to go about it, because we want it to look like the snow is like stacking on top of it, right? So I generally don't want like those lumps sticking out, because they're supposed to be roughly triangular shaped. Alright, so whoops, wrong tool. This tool, and then this tool, and then this tool, whoops, and then this tool, and then this tool. Yay, look, snowy trees, totally snowy trees, you guys, I swear. And then we'll do like an even quicker version of this on the background too, so, alright, so this, and then this, and then this, whoops. I know like in my head what I'm supposed to be doing here, but I don't always execute it. My sloppy fingers don't always do quite the right thing. And yeah, it doesn't have to be so regular. I can add like a little bit of like clumpy lumpiness, because like trees aren't like perfectly formulaic how they grow. Like nature makes really cool and interesting patterns sometimes, but they're not like, they don't tend to be perfect patterns. Like even when they do, I guess nautilus shells are pretty perfect, but I don't know. There's also like just biodiversity and degrees of regularity. So, whoops, I wouldn't want to go completely overboard with it. Because if you go too like oops, wrong tool. If you go too if you get too perfect, things don't look natural anymore. They don't look organic. They look like machine made. Which most trees, actually, I guess you can get machine made trees now. You can get like plastic Christmas trees. But like these are not supposed to be plastic Christmas trees. They're just supposed to be the natural kinds. I I a lot of times when I'm working on art, if you watched the stream before, you'll know that I tend to run out of things to say, and I'll just accidentally stop talking by accident. Apparently, I've gotten slightly better at that, such to the point that I can talk about like sixth grade biology instead of just going completely silent. So that might be a step in the right direction. I don't know. We'll see. I'm getting there. Still learning. Oops, a little too much. Yeah, I think this is gonna work out. One of the nice things about OBS is that it gives me like a little version of my screen, so I don't have to constantly like, because I'm zoomed in right now, so to see what it'll look like in game, I don't have to constantly like zoom out, because like the OBS version is like approximately the right size. It's a neat little feature. So if you're working on detailed, like small detailed art, then you should probably be streaming it, because then you have your built-in little preview window right there. I'm sure there's a lot of like better software that actually has that preview window built in, but I am using paint.net and it's free is what it is. Paint.net is super free. Alright, this, I feel like this has got to be one of the least interesting things I do on stream. I know I say that occasionally, but I don't know. There's a certain extent to which some things, like it's not like I'm trying to be boring on stream per se. I'm just like this. I try and stream basically what I would be doing, like just naturally. Like if I would be deving, I try and stream it because I don't know, I like it. I think that's cool, and I wish more people did it. And I can't make more people do it, so I have to just do it myself. And but like so when I stream, I don't really try and change what I'm working on though. I know there's some people who like, they'll only stream for like a couple hours a week, and they'll do it like cooking show style, where they'll pretend, I don't know, it's like, I mean, I don't need to knock it or anything, but like, sometimes it's a little bit like when they take a fully cooked turkey out of the oven. It's like, oh, okay, well, no, this is the real thing. You're gonna see every minute of that cookie turking. That is the guarantee that I give you on this stream. Is that you will know exactly how a turkey cooks. Step-by-step instructions on turkey preparedness. I think I'm still stuck. Like, I think my mindset is still stuck in the holidays, because I'm drawing like a winter wonderland, and I can't stop talking about like roast turkeys. So, yep. Clearly, my brain is still on vacation, even if the rest of me has showed up to work. Wow. This tree came out extra special. I might just leave it like that. This is like a snowball tree. It just has like snowballs growing from it. That's all that's happening there. Alright, so now I just have the other half to do. And then, okay, that was the thicker half, so the other half should go slightly faster. And then the background it'll have a similar texture, but it's like the background is not going to be nearly as noticeable, so that should help in terms of busting through it. Uh, doo-doo-doo. So then, yeah, the other things that I want to work on today at some point, like I want to do more character art. I want to do more character art. I don't know if I'll get to it today. I was talking about earlier about doing another background. And like honestly, this one's taking long enough that I doubt I'll actually get to making another background, frankly. But then, I mean, I do want to. And, I don't know. So yeah, so the other background I'm not 100% about. I am fairly certain that I want to make more character art, because I have to do that eventually. And I haven't seen Lauren yet today. I just haven't noticed Lauren yet today. Maybe Lauren's here and just being very quiet. But like, I mean, hot springs. Oh yeah. So when I talk about what I want to do, a lot of times I'm just talking about like the near term, because like I mean I want to keep working on this game for a long time, and I want to keep adding like environments and character art for like basically forever, just that long, is all. But yeah, I also like I was saying earlier, I want to work on IMA soon, because I like that's the first project. Like this project, I you know, well, this project is what it is in that like this is like I want this project. I want side quests for the stream and everything, and then that's I mean the stream is like where side quest lives. So like I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is basically like I'm not gonna be able to pay my bills with with side quest. I don't think so. At some point, I should get to working on projects where I'll actually like have an income and can live as a person in the world. So yeah, even when I switch on to IMA, like I think I'll probably like occasionally I'll come back and like make new character art for side quests. Like if I ever need a break from IMA or like whatever else I'm working on, yeah, that was like kind of my my goal with it. So yeah, so when I talk about like deadlines and like what I will and what won't do, I'm probably just talking about what I will and won't do like this week. In terms of the future, yeah. The hot springs, yeah. As soon as I said that one, that was one of those ones that I was like, yeah, right. Like I don't know. I think that could be cool. And it uses the tech that we spent Friday putting in, so double reason to go for it. How's this in terms of consistency? Ooh, this one needs a little bit of help. But I guess it's okay. Yikes, some of these just got a little bit slaughtered. The funny thing about... Hey, it's my time. The funny thing about techniques like this is that you can kind of tell which was the first... By the time I'll be done, you'll kind of be able to tell like which were the first trees that I drew and which were the later trees that I drew, because I'll get a little more like consistent, a little more deliberate, and a little bit just more intentional about how I draw them, which yeah, it happens. Oops, wrong tool. I mean, if I was like again, if I was a professional artist, I'd probably want to you know, scrap the first trees that I draw and like, you know, keep going until I get it like actually like really good. But I'm not gonna worry about that. It would take me a long time to get this like super good, to get it like really like startlingly good quality. And also, yeah, I mean, like I said this before, but for this project, I'm kind of going with a little lower bar for the individual quality of like any one particular asset, and then because I'm not a great artist or even a very good one, I instead you know, that allows me to actually like have some degree of variety. Because like if I'd really stressed out about like how the backgrounds look, I wouldn't have like two of them done by now. Like if I drew the forest in like a very detailed way, like the forest is like essentially like the tree equivalent of stick figures, how I drew it. Just because that was like that's what my artistic abilities lend themselves to. Uh, and I'm not ashamed. Like I just I don't know. Yeah, I like to think of myself as a generalist, except for the fact that no one likes a generalist. I like to think of myself as a generalist. I just don't like to say it because I recognize that people don't take generalists very seriously. Uh, oh, um, oh, so fun fact. Okay, so I won't tell you which events are which event type, but so okay, so the earlier example I gave was like the rock where the boulder where you know you can push the boulder left or you can push it right, and that's the sort of thing where you kind of want to pick a strategy, right? I'll give another example of so there's an actual event in the game called I forget what it's called, but it's basically like you find yourself in a hall of treasures, right? The two options are you can peruse coffers, or you can look at ancient relics or something like that. I forget exactly how it goes. Unlike the rock, this is of the other event type. Oh, I can draw while I talk. I don't know why I stopped trying. Uh, yeah. So the Hall of Treasures is actually the opposite event type of the boulder. The event type of the Hall of Treasures, you get a better outcome if you don't choose the same thing. Because if everyone goes for the coffers, for example, then you know there's very little to go around. However, if some people go for the coffers while other people go for the relics, then it works out much better for everyone because you didn't all choose the same thing. So I mentioned that Days Flash because there will be some instances where you'll want to coordinate again, you know, because you like again it all depends on like what people are choosing. However, you won't necessarily want to coordinate to choose the same thing. So yeah, I might be saying that because it's relevant now. I might not, but I did want to say that at some point because that's another thing to keep an eye out for. I Oh, you know, I just realized that this thin line that I sometimes I was just like, whatever, I'll just leave this thin line here. But the fact that I've left it in a lot of places, it's actually starting to annoy me. So I'm gonna go back in just a few places and rinse that out. I think for a while I had been erasing it, but I got out of that habit at a certain point. Anyways, that's fine. Look, we're almost done with this with these trees. Choo, choo, choo. Choo, 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 choo. So yeah, I feel like the hot springs. I kind of want to like as soon as you reminded me of it, I was like, oh yeah, maybe we could do the hot springs today instead of the desert. But part of the reason I chose the desert is that it's going to be very simple. It's going to be very flat and it's going to be very simple and there's going to be very little going on there. So I was thinking. So yeah. So the reason I chose that is because I like if I like I don't know if I'm going to be able to get around to actually doing another one today. But if I did have time to do any, I figured that would be the one that I'd actually have time to do. Oops. And so I don't know, but yeah, the hot springs I do want to do. Like I want to do the hot springs more than I want to do the desert. But I also when I do the hot springs, I want to do them right. So I want to yeah hold off on that one for a little while. But yeah, it's the the small epiphany that I had when I thought of that one is that I was trying to think of like when I'm gonna use the thing that I put in to make the snowfall, like when am I gonna use that other than like snowfall or like rainfall, and then it was yeah the hot springs is when I the in the desert like I'm pretty sure I just said no. Maybe stream delay hasn't caught up to you yet, but no, I mean like the whole point of the desert is like no, what I guess I'll read it. Well, no. whatever. Um, so yeah, no, I mean more likely than not, I'm just not going to. I'm just not going to do another environment. I want to though is the thing. So who knows? All right, so I can say this. I can say this with some certainty. I really shouldn't do another environment at this point. And so if I do another environment, despite the fact that I shouldn't, I should at least do one that like isn't going to take much time, right? Uh, and then so the nice thing about the desert is that you can make it really barren. Yeah, so I guess like actually I can say pretty definitively. I mean yeah, so like cactuses and like yeah, I guess it's basically just cactuses. Maybe like no, I was gonna say tumbleweeds, but I guess tumbleweeds don't really happen in a desert. So like cactuses. No, I probably wouldn't for a desert. Okay, so if I was gonna do like a the reason I thought of tumbleweeds is because if I was gonna do like an arid like mesa sort of is mesa the right word? Like what are those like flatlands that like are just like where tumbleweeds live? Like if I was gonna do a place where like tumbleweeds live, or like a place like um like an arid place where you'd find cactuses sort of thing. Kind of like the mountains. Oh, we just left the mountains. You know how the mountains look very arid? Like that's like if I was gonna do like a place like that, maybe like yeah, if I was gonna do another place like in that sort of like region, like if that's that sort of like what's the word I'm looking for? Like that sort of climate or whatever, then I would probably like put cactuses or something in there. The desert, yeah. So the thing to keep in mind is that anything I put in the one interesting thing about the way the art system works, and I try not to draw attention to this necessarily, but I'll point it out because whatever. All right, so look at this grid here where there's this very like Mondrian sort of set of rocks. Oh well, it's just one off screen. Um, all right, so instead look at this like cave mouth right here. Oh wait, no, we're still in the transition loop, so it's not. Is that it actually? I can't use any of these examples yet. But all right, so here in the background we have like two little portholes, right? And then we have this like kind of like sideways shaped like Pez candy shaped rock. It's I don't know, it's kind of Pez shaped except it's embedded into the ground. Anyways, so like that is about to scroll off screen, right? So it goes off screen, right, and then within moments again, I don't try and call attention to this because I basically do everything in my power not to call attention to it. Hey, look what's scrolling in from this side of the screen. It's those two little portholes and that Pez-shaped rock. So the thing is, if I tried to put an oasis into the desert, there would always be an oasis on screen. Because as soon as one oasis went off screen, a new oasis would come in. And that is just really samey. That's like, the reason I avoid things like that is because, and the reason I will in fact avoid something like an oasis for the desert is that it becomes so obvious like it's okay, so it's not technically it's obvious all the time, but like some things can be obvious and as long as they don't call too much attention to themselves, like they're not in your face kind of like things can be like have you seen the video of the basketball players, and like at the beginning of the video it asks you like pay attention to how many times the basketball players pass the ball. And it's something like 16 or like 20 something times or something like that, right? But then at the end of the video, they're like, did you see the bear walking across the court? And the first time I saw that, I was like, what? but, but then they replay the exact same video. And a guy in a bear suit, just in the middle of this basketball game, just kind of like strolls across the court. I probably should have. Oh, is it a gorilla suit? um, yeah. So the looping backgrounds are kind of like the guy in the gorilla suit. Like technically they're there. Technically it's happening. But as long as you don't like give the player a specific reason to notice it, then it's not quite as overt. So that's actually kind of like what I was talking about before when I was saying how it's a little fortuitous that that a forest full of snow-covered trees is a bit formulaic in how it looks, because it's technically looping, but like, I mean, if you walk through a real forest, like, you could probably like there like if in the Matrix or something like that, like they could probably make a forest like loop, and people would still probably perceive it as like a real forest, because like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like, it's the sort of thing where like it could get noticed, but a lot of people just like walking through, that you expect, like, okay, this next chunk of path will have tons of trees all over the place, and the chunk of path after that will have tons of trees all over the place. So yeah, it's just about like liminality. Is that what it is? Like how at the forefront of your mind something is. I don't know if that's a real word or if I'm using it correctly, but like with subliminal messages, it's basically like subliminal trees, I guess. Subliminal tree duplication is the goal, if we pull it off correctly. So yeah, we're pretty much done with this row. Just got these little stragglers here, and then we can start moving on to the back. And then so the back row will go quicker for several reasons. For one thing, I don't care about it as much, and for another thing, I have gotten a little bit faster at this just because I've done it like a bajillion times now. So good and cool and almost done. And then what do we have to do after that? I think actually after that we're basically done with this layer. Oh, we just need to put in we need to put in the snowy path, which should be easy enough. It's just like we did with that little patch over at the thing. We just we draw on a darker line, and then yeah, I'm gonna draw on the footprints because it's snowy, you guys. There's got to be footprints. So and the shading on the trees. All right, I lied. We do have that other thing to do, but this should go really quick. In part because I'm not going to be super. What's wrong there? I'm not gonna be super. Oh, I color picking tool, sampling from the wrong layer. Yeah, I'm just gonna switch to a slightly smaller brush, and I'm probably not going to do this additive subtractive approach. I'm probably just going to do an additive approach and call it good. Unless that messes some stuff up. Actually, oh, you know what I'll do? I'll make a new layer for it. That way if I do need to go subtractive, I can do it quicker than by color picking and blah blah blah. So we'll call this near ground tree. Whoops, tree. I can spell tree. Snow shade, I guess. Yeah. So let's let's just go through. Whoops, did I not pick the right color? Oh, for one thing, it should be on top of the snow. Oh, and okay, I did have the right color. It just wasn't on top. So yeah, this is just to add in the little bit of depth to the scene. Oh, and we haven't done this to the trees yet, actually, but we'll want to do the same thing to the trees. Actually, so maybe I should do the trees first. Or when I say trees, I mean the green parts of the trees. So because we were doing this all in separate layers, or we were doing this all in separate layers because yeah, it'll be easier to do the tree if I can just wait, where's the prototype? Yeah, if I can just do this separately. So yeah, hide that. Actually, we can see this snow while we do this. That's fine. Paintbrush size 8 brush should be fine for this. And then right, so now we're just going in and shading some of the tree, just to like give it like because we'll go in and we'll shade the snow too, and then once the snow and the tree is shaded, it should give it a little more depth, so it'll look a little less flat on the page, or the page a little less flat on the screen. Uh, and so the like we were talking earlier about like light source and phase of day. Um, as I've done it so far, the light source is pretty consistent. Oh, I should change. I should touch up the tree skirts. Actually, most of the tree skirts will be. When I say skirt, I just mean like the bottom part. I guess if the tree was a skirt, then the hem of the tree skirt. Anyways, did I start shading the mountains then stop on the right side of the image? Oh, well, so for one. Oh, wait. Do you mean Do you mean here? Because I'm not actually supposed to have mountains here. Um, oh, are you talking about like how there's nothing over here? So the reason for that is it gets low. It gets low, and the reason it gets low. Why is there two layers for this? I just started drawing it on the wrong layer at a certain point, apparently. Wait, seriously? Yeah, no, I just started drawing it on the wrong layer at some point, so I'm just gonna smoosh these together. Oops, wait. Oh no, I started drawing it on the wrong layer, and that layer is occupied by other things. Oh no. Oh, that's sad. I can fix that. Oh yeah, anyways, yeah, so technically it's not supposed to be mountains. Technically it's supposed to be trees in the background, but that's fine. It actually just gets low, and the reason for that is when they these slides won't always be overlaid exactly the same. They'll be like sliding relative to each other because of the parallax effect, and so there'll be parts where you peek through and you see more of the clouds. There'll be parts where you peek through and you see more of the mountains. Just to kind of, I mean, I don't even know if I'm going to keep that effect, but like it's taller here and it's lower here, and I kind of want to see how that looks, just to see if it makes it look like the elevation like is like it's not like completely flat ground, but it's actually like kind of like lumpy. For some reason, I picture these. I picture this type of. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. I picture this type of forest to be like not on flat ground. Maybe there's no reason that it couldn't be on flat ground, but like I tend to picture it on like uneven terrain, like uneven elevations. I don't know if that's globally the case, but I don't know. That's kind of how I picture it. So I was just gonna see if that was a. I'm just gonna see if that works, and if it doesn't work, I can always just go back in. Like that layer that we just looked at is is literally just a squiggly line across the screen. So that layer is really easy to correct if we need to come back and do something different to it later on. So near ground tree, no, not near ground tree green is what we're working on right now. And by working on, I mean just like kind of slapping in some tone here. Yeah, I don't think I might do a little tone on the snow in the background, but I don't think I'm gonna do any tone on the greens in the background. Because for one thing, you like never see the greens in the background. Like there's this little bitty piece of tree green peeking through here, and there's like, I mean, you'll see some of it here, I guess, but like where the trees are thinner up front, but yeah, it's not. They're just not as prominent. They're just not as in the foreground really. This tree is big. All right. I might have. It's just occurring to me, like, maybe I should have made the. Maybe I should have skipped shading on the. In the. Oh yeah, I maybe would have wanted to. Huh. I don't know. Maybe I should see how this looks without shading before I actually put shading in here. I mean, I know I'm drawing shading right now, but maybe because it was just occurring to me, like in heavy snowfall, like light gets really ambient. Like there's no directional light source in like really heavy snow. So, yeah. Excuse me. So maybe this isn't like really heavy snow. Maybe this is just like quite heavy snow, wherein you can still perceive some directional light source. because I think this probably will read, like once it's done, I think this effect will read better than like just not having it. Let me see. Let me bring back the adventures and the snow as we have it so far. And I don't need to bring back layer 17. And yeah, it probably looks fine either way. And actually, yeah, okay, wait. Right, because I was gonna. It was occurring to me like the near foreground snow. No, not near foreground snow. The near ground tree snow. I was thinking I might want to dim this just slightly, just like ever so slightly. So like, just knock down the brightness, very slight amount. Yeah, because as it was, like it's probably something like this, which is just very subtly different. As it was, like it was so bright and the snowflakes were so bright. Oh, thank you, Dace. Dace Slash. Oh, excuse me. I don't know why I yawn so much. And no, I haven't been to a doctor yet to check it out. But yeah, right. So when the brightness on the tree snow and the snowflakes were the same, the snowflakes wouldn't be as noticeable. So by knocking that down a little bit, they'll become a little bit more noticeable. And then also when once I add in the shading on the trees, that'll also have a similar effect. So yeah, let's continue with the tree snow shade as we had been. I should do like everything on a separate layer, because like I don't know what I'm going to need to do with the so I should use a smaller pen for this. I don't know what I'm going to need to do for like color balance later on, and by color balance I don't literally mean color, because we don't actually have much color going on here, but like for like shading balance and stuff. I like have no clue. Oh yeah, wait, I'm doing this wrong. It's not supposed to be quite like that. It's supposed to be more like just like globally on this side. Alright, yeah. So this should go quick. I won't go crazy with it, as I've said. If I went crazy with it, I would go really crazy. Like I'd go like lose my mind crazy. If I tried to get like super detailed and super precise on stuff like that. Ooh. My heart goes out to like people making production art on games, because game worlds are so big. They're so big, you guys. I mean, they aren't all so big, but like a lot of them are really big. And like, man, and some of them are like really pretty. Like think of those games that are so pretty and so big. It's like, oof. It's like someone had to spend a lot of time. A lot of people had to spend a lot of time making that game as pretty and big as it was. Because like if it was just pretty but very small, like that, that's a reasonable task. But if it was big and like kind of sloppy, like that's doable. That's literally the approach I'm taking with this. Big, little sloppy, gets the point across, sort of thing. Like those are doable, but like, man, those games that have like photorealistic graphics and are just like entirely open, like, or not even like open world necessarily, but like just like such grand like adventures that like take place across like such a great scale. It's like the artists that work on those projects have to be so dedicated, right? Like they have to, like, art has to be their life, like literally, which I guess is not that remarkable, and like it's not, I mean that's not such a revolutionary concept, but like I don't know, when you really think of the magnitude of like what that really means, I don't know. Maybe it's just because like I'm like right here pretending to be one of those people, kind of like I am like a very unclever imposter of like a game artist right now, and I don't know. I tell you, I like what I'm doing, but I'm very aware right now that like if I did this all day every day, I would go crazy and just stop caring. So the fact that some people can do this day in and day out and continue to care and continue to be like incredibly passionate about that is what I was trying to express, is remarkable. That is what I have a great amount of admiration and respect for. Because the effects, like there's some games out there that like they almost don't need to be games just because they're so pretty. Like it's almost enough that they're just super pretty pieces of art. Like they almost don't need to be games to be, you know, enjoyable and worth checking